Lockheed Martin just secured a big contract worth $11.8 billion for 145 F-35 fighter jets.
This contract is a pretty big deal in the defense industry.
We're going to take a look at what it means for Lockheed and its competitors, and we'll talk about what it means for the future of air power.
The contract includes all three F-35 variants. It also includes support for final assembly facilities in both Italy and Japan. It shows how globally important and strategically important this aircraft is.
This deal really shows just how much Lockheed Martin dominates the fighter jet market.
They've already delivered over 1,000 F-35s.
And this recent win just makes their leading position even stronger.
Lockheed Martin's stock performance is a reflection of this success. It's gone up 5.1% over the past 6 months,
Which actually beats the industry average.
and shows that investors are confident in their future.
This boost in Lockheed Martin's value is in line with the strong growth of the fighter jet market as a whole.
Geopolitical tensions are a big factor in this growth, as are advancements in technology and increases in defense spending across the globe. Mortar Intelligence is predicting a 3.7% annual growth rate for the fighter jet market, and that growth is expected to continue all the way through 2029.
Which shows there's going to be long-term demand for these advanced fighter aircraft.
And this means there are a lot of opportunities for other major defense contractors.
Northrop Grumman, Embraer, and Boeing are all in a good position to take advantage of this expanding market.
They all have strong portfolios when it comes to combat aircraft. It is important to note that this $11.8 billion contract with Lockheed Martin is undefinitized.
Which means that the final details are still being worked out.
They aren't expected to be finalized until spring.
This kind of agreement allows Lockheed to keep producing jets without interruption,
But it also introduces some uncertainty.
because the new presidential administration could change the final terms of the deal.
The president-elect has said he supports the F-35 program. However, some of his advisors have expressed some concerns about the program's cost.
Which just makes things a little more complicated.
It raises questions about how much it will actually cost in the end and the potential impact on the deal.
The F-35 program's development and deployment have brought up some important questions.
Critics have been pretty vocal about how cost-effective the program is and the risks that are involved. The program has had its share of challenges, and it's definitely been scrutinized. However, the F-35 is still in high demand globally.
Its advanced capabilities and anticipated longevity make it a really important part of many nations' air power strategies. The scale of this $11.8 billion contract really highlights the amount of money that is invested in military technology.
It makes you think about the wider economic and societal implications of spending so much on defense. These contracts do create jobs and contribute to economic growth, but we also have to recognize the ethical considerations involved with putting so much money into military technology,
This contract shows a trend of increasing military spending around the world.
which is partly driven by the pursuit of military superiority. Increased military capabilities impact international relations and the global balance of power.
Which brings up some important questions about how we allocate resources and what the consequences of an escalating arms race might be. It is really important to consider these things when we're trying to understand the full context of the fighter jet market.
The financial aspects are closely linked to these wider geopolitical and ethical considerations. The F-35 program is like a small-scale version of the bigger trends that are shaping the fighter jet market. It shows how complicated modern military procurement can be. It's a huge financial investment, and it has really significant implications for technological innovation, geopolitical dynamics, and ethical considerations.
The fighter jet market is driven by advancements in technology,
The pursuit of better capabilities leads to continuous research and development,
which then leads to the integration of really cutting-edge technologies,
like stealth capabilities
advanced sensors.
and enhanced maneuverability.
These advances have a big impact on how fighter jets perform
They also affect the cost and production timelines.
and the overall strategic value.
Geopolitical dynamics also have a significant influence,
International relations, regional conflicts, and perceived threats shape the demand.
and those factors influence procurement decisions.
Nations want to modernize their air forces.
They want to be able to deter potential adversaries,
They want to project power,
and they want to safeguard their own national interests.
but the fighter jet market is also sensitive to economic considerations.
Defense budgets, government priorities, and economic conditions all play a part.
And these factors impact how affordable and accessible these advanced aircraft aircraft are.
Acquiring, operating, and maintaining these advanced fighter jets is expensive.
Governments have to balance the financial implications with their strategic goals when they're making procurement decisions.
The competitive landscape is characterized by a few dominant players.
Like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, and Airbus.
These companies invest a ton of money in research and development.
They want to stay ahead of the game in terms of technology, and they want to secure those big contracts.
Competition between these companies drives innovation,
And it influences pricing strategies.
as well as the global distribution of fighter jets. All these factors create a really dynamic fighter jet market.
And that market has significant implications for global security and the balance of power.
The F-35 program is a good example of how complicated modern military procurement can be. It requires a substantial financial investment and has far-reaching consequences,
Including in areas like technological innovation, geopolitical dynamics, and ethical considerations.
The program has been the subject of a lot of debate.
And people have raised questions about whether it is really cost-effective.
And they've questioned the technological challenges and its overall strategic value.
Despite all that, the F-35 is still a really sought-after aircraft.
Its advanced capabilities and its projected longevity make it a really important part of a lot of countries' air power strategies. The F-35 program is a microcosm. It reflects the larger trends we see shaping the fighter jet market and the defense industry as a whole. It shows how important it is to find a balance between different factors,
Like technological advancements, financial considerations, and ethical implications.
all of which are important when pursuing national security objectives.
The recent $11.8 billion contract that Lockheed Martin was awarded just highlights how important the program is.
And it shows how much of an impact it continues to have on the defense landscape.
This contract for 145 F-35 jets solidifies Lockheed Martin's position as a dominant force in the fighter jet market.
It also reflects the continued demand for advanced fighter aircraft all over the world. The fighter jet market is dynamic and influential.
It's driven by technological innovation, geopolitical rivalries, and economic factors.
Countries want to modernize their air forces.
And they want to maintain a competitive edge.
As a result, we can expect to see the demand for sophisticated fighter aircraft continue.
The financial aspects of this market are pretty substantial.
Billions of dollars are invested in research, development, production, and procurement.
And these investments have an impact on national economies, job creation, and technological advancements.
The effects go way beyond the defense sector. It's crucial that we understand how all these factors interact.
It allows us to see just how complex the fighter jet market really is.
And it helps us understand how it impacts global security and international relations.
Technology keeps evolving, and geopolitical dynamics keep shifting.
As this happens, the fighter jet market will adapt and continue to change.
And that means it will keep shaping the future of air power for decades to come. This $11.8 billion deal for 145 F-35s is not just another contract.
It really shows how the global defense landscape is changing.
We're seeing countries prioritize getting fifth-generation fighter capabilities.
And that's going to have a long-term impact on air power dynamics. The F-35 program isn't just limited to the U.S.
The fact that they're including final assembly facilities in Italy and Japan says a lot.
It highlights how important the program is for making alliances stronger.
And for promoting interoperability between key partners.
This level of global collaboration is something we haven't really seen before in fighter jet programs.
The fact that the contract is undefinitized is worth noting.
It means that Lockheed Martin and the Department of Defense are still working out some of the details.
Which isn't all that unusual for big defense procurements.
But it does highlight the complicated financial maneuvering that goes on behind these deals.
And it's interesting that this contract is happening at the same time as a new presidential administration.
Which adds another layer of political uncertainty.
Because even though the president-elect has said he supports the F-35,
Some of his advisors have said they're worried about the cost.
which could have an impact on the final agreement, the F-35 program has had its fair share of criticism.
People have pointed to delays in development
Cost overruns.
and technical challenges.
But even with all of that, the F-35 is still a very capable aircraft.
It has advanced stealth technology, sensor fusion, and network-centric warfare capabilities.
All of which make it a very powerful asset in modern air combat.
And the F-35 isn't just for conventional warfare.
It also plays a really important role in intelligence gathering, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions.
Its sensor suite allows it to gather gather really valuable data
which helps with situational awareness.
and supports decision-making in military operations.
The fighter jet market is a combination of different factors.
You have technological innovation
Geopolitical dynamics
and economic considerations.
also coming together.
Understanding how all these factors interact is crucial if we want to understand the future of air power.
And the F-35 program is a perfect example of how complex that interplay can be.
The demand for advanced fighter aircraft doesn't seem to be slowing down.
Countries around the world want to upgrade their air fleets.
They want to stay ahead of the game technologically in a world that's getting more and more competitive.
And that continued demand is going to drive innovation and investment in the fighter jet market for the foreseeable future.
Until next time, goodbye.